guys, so today's video is all about ways you can save while grocery shopping. So to start, the first step is to always shop with a list. And this is my list from like this previous grocery shopping trip. And I always shop with a list because it helps you stick to what the schedule is for whatever your meal plan is, and it helps you from your impulsive buys. And then it also feels really good to just like check things off of the list. So always shop with the list, and if you can't get an item on your list at that grocery store, then maybe go to another grocery store. The next item for saving while going grocery shopping is to shop alone. And I know that it might be a little controversial for some people because especially with stay-at-home moms, like you need to bring your children. But if it can be avoided, try not to bring your children and your husband with you, because a lot of kids, they want to see and take everything that they can in the aisles, and you might just give in, which might make you go over your budget. And if times are tough, those are expenditures you don't really need at that moment. Same thing goes for the husband, but I would recommend at some point taking your kids or your husband or your spouse with you grocery shopping, so you can teach them how you do your shopping to get the best bang for your buck. The next one on the list is to, this is important, to look above and below the middle aisles. So, you know, when you are going grocery shopping and you're trying to get maybe like a bottle of pasta sauce and you look at the middle aisle or like the eye level, most grocery stores give you the most expensive product that is at eye level, because that's what the first thing that you're going to see. So more than likely it's going to be the first item that you take. However, if you look above and slightly below where that middle aisle product is, then you can generally find the same type of product but for cheaper. So make sure you do that. The next step, sorry, I keep like looking back at my notes. Don't always go for name brands. And I know I definitely have some issues with this because I love Land O'Lakes butter. And for me, that's a non-negotiable. So I completely understand for some people, there are some things that you need to buy name brand because that is just the taste that you like and you prefer it better. But it's also important to expand your taste because name brands can be pretty hefty, and it's also important to note that a lot of off-brands are actually made from the same name brand company, they just have a different label on it. So if you need like a few non-negotiables, like I always use Aussie hairspray, I'm not going to change it, so that is one thing I will always get, but I might offset that cost by getting something that isn't name brand, like different types of bread or pasta sauce. Like I just use general store brands, so try and do that. Also, when you're going grocery shopping, see if you can do cashback apps. So one of the main ones is Ibotta, which I use a lot whenever I go grocery shopping. And then there's also Fetch Rewards and Checkout 51, which are the three ones that I do. So you're going to be making money by buying items that you were already going to buy, but don't look at those apps and then say, oh, like I'll get $2 back if I buy this item, and you weren't already going to get that item, because that just means you're spending money that you don't have on a product you don't need. So make sure you do check off the items on those cashback apps that you were already going to get, so you can just take a picture of your receipt, and then in I think 24 hours you get your cash back. Next is to shop with coupons. I get my coupons from coupons.com or from the, I don't know what they're called, but from like the stores, like, you know, the thing that with all of, why can't I think of this thing? So I figured out what they're called. Make sure you check your weekly ads at your local grocery store to make sure you are getting all of the coupons for the store for that week, and to make sure you're getting the best amount of food for all of the money that you have. The next tip is to also expand your grocery stores to international markets to shop for meat and food. At least in my experience personally, I have found that I can get a lot better deal on meat and with fruit at international stores, and I think it's just a really cool cultural experience. You get to try different types of food, and it's just so interesting there because they have all of these like different types of things that you don't normally see in your standard supermarkets, but it's really good. So if you have a local international market near you guys, I would try and go. The next step is to kind of like the same thing that I was saying, but shop around your grocery stores. So if one store doesn't exactly have everything you need, For example, if I go to grocery stores down here in Melbourne, so like Publix, but Publix doesn't have everything I need, I could go to Winn-Dixie. And if Winn-Dixie doesn't have everything I need, then I can go to Walmart, because different grocery stores during different weeks will have better prices. So don't always go to just one grocery store consistently. Like, try and divvy it up, because a lot of the times the grocery stores themselves are on cycles. So even though Publix might have great prices one week, it might actually be Walmart or Winn-Dixie that might have even better prices the next week when you go shopping. So you want to make sure you take advantage of that. The next step is to never buy any pre-cut or pre-shredded products. So the next step is to never buy any pre-cut cheese or fruits. And this is a big one, because I know it can be really convenient for a lot of people. However, if you can't afford the extra few dollars for each pre-cut item, then you shouldn't get it, because it really doesn't take that much time to grab a knife and chop up some fruit, or to use a cheese grater and shred some cheese. And a lot of the times when you're buying these pre-packaged items, you're paying for the cost of someone else to do the work for you. And to me, at least now, while I'm on a tight budget, that's just not worth my time or my money. Few more tips left. Plan your shopping trips for once a week. This is what I do, because my grocery store I can just walk to. It's like 2 minutes away. So I make sure to not go multiple times during the week. Once I go for the week, I can't go back anymore. I make sure I get all of my breakfast, lunch, and dinners, all of those supplies for the week, and then I'll just go back the next week, because sometimes I like to change up my food. So I don't like going every 2 weeks or every month, because I have the grocery store at my disposal. But for other people, if you have a habit of going multiple times a week because you keep forgetting items, make sure you have your list so you know what you need to buy, and only go once a week or bi-weekly, whatever fits your schedule. But make sure to minimize the amount of trips so you can save gas and you can stop your impulse purchases. Okay, the biggest one that I wanted to talk about is to budget how much money you're going to spend on food each week, because this is where a lot of people go wrong. A lot of people, when they're trying to first start out with budgeting, they make their budget too small, and then they can't get all of the food that they need. So then they go over, and then they feel bad about themselves. But it actually takes 3 to 6 months to get a really good budget down. So if you don't necessarily work it out the first time, that's okay, because you're just still trying to figure out what you need. But generally speaking, when I go grocery shopping, when I'm not at school, because I'm on a meal plan right now, I spend $30 a week for all of my food. This includes all meat, because I am a big meat eater, all fruits and veggies, and the occasional snack like a box of Chips Ahoy cookies. But it's totally doable, and I'm able to do that through cashback apps, and I do coupons as well. But make sure you and your family, or however many people are in your family, sit down and you analyze your income and your expenses, and then come up with a budget. Try it for 1 week. If it doesn't work, see where it went wrong, but keep trying to alter it until it works for you. And the last step is cheaper cuts of meat. Make sure you switch to different alternatives, not just for meat, but for other types of food. So I love ground beef. I need it a lot for the type of food that I make. I love making empanadas, and we need ground beef for that. Or we could use skirt steak, but that's also kind of expensive. So right now, because the budget is a little more tight, because we have a bunch of different goals that Tyler and I are trying to reach, we have been switching to ground turkey, because for us, it costs $4 for a whole pound of ground turkey, compared to $7.99 for a pound of ground beef at my local grocery store. And to us, with the amount of meat that we eat each week, it's just not feasible. So if you guys are in the same boat, you're not a vegetarian and you need to eat meat, you really want to eat meat, but it's just not in the cards, try switching to different types of meat, because while it may be a little different and healthier, you're actually saving a lot of money, and it can go a long way, because the food doesn't taste bad. It still tastes really good, tastes a little different, but it works for us. So I hope you guys like this video. Message below if there are other tips that you have for saving when going grocery shopping, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.